Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So this week, the Social Security increase finally arrives. We're going to be going over the payment dates and how much of an increase you can expect to take place. Plus, we're going to be going over 3 reasons why your Social Security check might actually end up shrinking. And we have the first Republican primary coming up next week in Iowa. We're going to be going over why this might be the most important one coming up very soon. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive at least $60 or more in free stock or $60 or more in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Webull. All you got to do is once you click on that link, it's just to open up a free account and then deposit at least 1 penny. At that point, Webull will be sending you 20 free stocks. Each stock is going to be worth at least $3, so it's going to be at least $60 or more. And once again, if you do not want to invest at this point in time and you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is just sell those stocks for what they're worth and then transfer the $60 or more back to your bank account. Okay, so in just 1 week, we had the first Republican primary coming up in the state of Iowa, and this is going to be incredibly important because really this is one of the few states where a candidate other than Trump probably has the best chance of winning both Iowa and New Hampshire. It could really go either way, but right now with the polling results, it looks like Trump is going to win by a large margin. But hey, polling is just polling, and certainly anything can happen. So according to The Hill, the Republican presidential candidates are starting the final full week of campaigning before the Iowa caucuses on January 15th. Former President Trump retains a huge polling lead both nationally and in the Hawkeye state. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former United Nations Ambassador Nikki Haley look to be in a close fight for second in Iowa, and you can see the polling results up on the screen here. This is from Real Clear Politics. We have different polls up there: Fox Business, Emerson, Insider Advantage, CBS News, and in each of those polls, on average, Trump has a 32.7 lead. And you know, polling is just polling. Certainly anything can happen depending on who you're polling. You might get different results, so we'll have to wait and see at the end of the day. Next week on January 15th, is Trump really going to win by that large of a margin? And certainly if he wins the state of Iowa, I would say it's pretty much over at that point in time, unless, of course, the Supreme Court rules in favor of both Colorado and Maine and making sure that he's kicked off to the ballot, and then we have other states that follow, and we have Trump kicked off like 20 ballots. That's probably the only way any of these other Republican candidates can win. But it's going to be an extremely important election because, let's say for an instance like Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis wins the state of Iowa, well, perhaps they could kick their momentum in gear, where at that point they might soon win other states as well and really give Trump a good run for his money. But I would say if Trump wins, especially by a large margin, it's probably over, and it's probably going to be Trump versus Biden once again. So in some other news, of course, this week later on Wednesday, we have the first batch of payments going out to those on Social Security retirement and SSDI as well. Of course, we already had the first checks go out last month on December 29th to SSI recipients that included the increase. The increase, once again, is thanks in part to the cost of living adjustment. So your payments are going to be right around 3.2% higher this year. Of course, there are going to be some other factors as well, such as the Medicare Part B premium. That went up by close to $10, a little bit lower than $10 this year. So that also factored in as well. But at this point, you should have already received a sheet from the Social Security Administration letting you know exactly how much you're going to be receiving this year. So according to Marca, here's a breakdown of the payment schedule based on birth dates. So for January 2024, the payment dates are as followed. So on January 10th, that's going to be in a couple days on Wednesday, those are going to be the payments going to those if your birthday is from the 1st to the 10th of any given month. This is the same as usual. Then on January 17th, those payments are going to be going to those with birthdays falling between the 11th and 20th of any given month. And then finally, the next Wednesday on January 24th, those are the payments going to those with birthdays who are born after the 20th through the 31st of each month. And you can see the payment schedule up on there, up on the screen there from the Social Security Administration. Once again, for January, we had payments, of course, going out on the 3rd of the month, and we had payments going out on December 29th. So the December 29th payment for SSI recipients, that would have been the second payment they would have been receiving in the month of December. Their December 29th payment was simply their January payment. So if you notice up on the screen there, you don't see any payment for SSI recipients on the 1st of the month. That's because the first was a holiday, being that it was New Year's Day. Then if we skip ahead till February, SSI recipients are going to receive their, their first payment of 2024 on the 1st, and they're actually going to be getting another double payment. There's going to be a payment coming for them on the 28th as well. So those are the payments for Social Security recipients this month. Of course, we have the first payment once again coming up in just a couple of days. Now, of course, we're also going to talk about 3 ways in this video that some Social Security beneficiaries can actually see their checks get reduced. So we're going to be covering that. This is an article from the Motley Fool. So they say the first way is that if you file for benefits ahead of your full retirement age. So once you reach your full retirement age or FRA, you're eligible to receive your monthly Social Security benefit. But FRA doesn't arrive until 67 or if you were born in 1960 or later. Now, you're allowed to sign up for Social Security at any time once you turn 62, but if you claim Social Security even a month prior to FRA, you'll be looking at a lower monthly benefit for life. And if you claim Social Security several years ahead of FRA, it stands to reason that your monthly benefit will shrink even more. So obviously, the earlier you start claiming Social Security benefits, the lesser amount you're going to receive. If you can wait all the way until 70, that would be best for you. But, the most Americans actually claim even earlier than 67. They're fed up with working, or they know that they're eligible for benefits, so I think they can claim then, and perhaps they don't have, the proper education on Social Security benefits and how much benefits they can receive if they wait longer. I wish the Social Security Administration was more transparent and showed them maybe statements like, this is how much you're going to receive at 62, this is how much you would receive at 63, and so on and so forth. That way people can make, probably the better decision. Now, the second way is if you file for benefits before putting in 35 years in the workforce. So the monthly Social Security benefit you're entitled to in retirement is calculated based on your personal earnings history, and it's your 35 highest paid years in the labor force that are used to determine how much monthly Social Security income you'll get. What this means, though, is that if you don't put in a full 35 years in the workforce, you'll have $0 factored into your personal benefits calculation for each year you've gone without an income. So if you're gearing up to claim Social Security and you have only worked for 33 years, you may be looking at a lower benefit than what you would be getting with a 35-year income history. And this one is pretty much self-explanatory. If you able to work the 35 years, you're probably going to get a higher benefit, whereas if maybe you only work 25 or 30 years, obviously you're going to receive a lesser benefit. Now in this case, where if you've worked 33 years, you're probably not going to get a significantly higher benefit if you work 2 more years before starting to claim. The most important part, obviously, is waiting to your full retirement age if you can, and possibly even if you have savings or some other type of retirement account, such as an IRA or 401k, obviously waiting until 70 would be your best case scenario. And the third way is if you're working while collecting benefits at the same time. So it's permissible to earn money from a job while also collecting Social Security benefits. And once you reach FRA, you can earn any amount of money without risking losing out on Social Security. However, if you opt to work and receive Social Security before FRA, you'll be subject to an earnings test limit, and if your income exceeds that limit, you'll have some of your benefits withheld, resulting in a smaller monthly check. Now, the good news is that withheld Social Security isn't forfeited permanently in this situation. Once you reach FRA, any amount of Social Security you had withheld for exceeding the earnings test limit will be added back into your monthly benefits for a boosted amount at that time. But you'll need to wait until FRA to get that money. And I think that last paragraph is probably the most important part, because I've seen a lot of people, once they start receiving Social Security benefits, if they start receiving them before the full retirement age and they're still working, they might work less hours and try to earn less money because they're afraid of earning more than that amount, thinking that they're not going to have that amount added back to their check later on. They think that it's just going to be taken from them, and there's no point to earn more because of the fact that there are going to be some earnings withheld from their paycheck or from their Social Security amount if they earn more than that earnings test limits. But that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.